When you trade from a place of scarcity and need, you do not trade well. Trade a process, not a P&L. The calendar here, like this, to me, is really what I focus on. I can't make this a super complicated process. In my TradeZella playbook, I can see when market conditions change, which entries may not be performing as well. I think when you're new, discipline is mandatory.
What would sort of be the point where you think, okay, I need to tweak or refine this strategy?
If the market conditions react differently and we get super volatile.
Welcome back to Process Over Profits today, everyone. Today, I'm joined by Austin Silver, a full-time trader, educator, and owner of ASFX. Austin has built his reputation for his structured trading approach and commitment to helping traders develop consistency. Austin, I really appreciate you being here today. Let's dive in. Where did it all start? Like, what got you into this whole trading business?
First, good to see you, buddy. Always a pleasure to sit with you.
Likewise.
I remember I got into trading when I was studying for my Series 7. So here in the States, if you want to become a financial advisor, you need a couple of licenses in order to sell stocks and sell mutual funds and get people's money invested. So I started studying for that test. And through studying for the test, they talked about day trading. So I just started Googling it and fell down a terrible rabbit hole of binary options and Forex scams and went through many, many different things of that. But I always knew I loved trading. Like, I really thought that it gave me everything that I wanted: time freedom, income freedom, flexibility for like location. So with those three boxes checked, I was hooked. Like, I caught the bug. So like everybody else, I just start trading, throwing my own money at it, lost money for many years, about a year and a half before I even had a profitable like 6 weeks to 8 weeks, like back-to-back months. It took me 18 months to get to that point of watching videos, watching courses. So a lot of losses, a lot of education. Yeah. And then I started to kind of turn a little bit when I found a few mentors, Brian Shannon, a couple of other guys who really helped guide me in the right way.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't actually know that you started in Forex. I always thought you were the futures guy. So
no, dude, I appreciate that. That's good. That means I'm doing a good job at, moving past my previous life. But yeah, I started in Forex for a long time. That was in 2016. I started trading Forex. And then we moved to futures about a year and a half ago.
Wow, that's crazy. So you've trained sort of 9 years now.
Yeah, getting old.
Wow.
My lower back will tell you my age. You know what I'm saying?
Sat in the chair a bit too much on the trading.
Bro, you know it too well. You know it too well.
Awesome. And when you got into trading, I think a lot of people would be interested, because I think for someone trading as long as you, they'd be interested to sort of learn about what sort of struggles and challenges that you faced in the beginning. And sort of, obviously, I know for you, you said it took about 18 months before you kind of got somewhere with it. Yeah. Some people watching this video might be on their 3rd, 4th, 5th year, and they might still not have, even got any ground. So is there anything you can sort of advice that you can give for people to overcome those challenges when starting out?
It's a great question. So with my coaching program, I work with not usually new traders. So I work with guys that have been in the position you're talking about. Couple of years, couple of months in the game, they like it. Like I said, they caught the bug, but they don't know how to make it consistent. If you look at those people, majority of them fall into the same couple of buckets of mistakes. I think the biggest one is they don't get mentorship. They don't get guidance. Now, I just said I run a mentorship program, so people will say I'm biased, but in any high performance activity, sports, medical field, lawyer, any of those people have mentors and coaches that have taught them the game along the way. So when you want to get prop firm payouts, let's just use that as an example, to go at it on your own, over and over on your own, and keep failing and keep paying money and what do you expect to change unless you get guidance, unless you get feedback, unless you get, some schooling on the game? So I think a lot of new traders are not willing to just swallow their ego pill and just get coached, get around people that are already taking payouts. Be humble enough to say, I don't know what I'm doing, but I want to learn. I know that guy, I see him, he's getting payouts. What is he doing well? Let me go talk to him. So I think it's big thing, swallow your ego, get coaching, get around the people who have what you want. There's too much information on the internet, and that's a good thing and a bad thing. The too much on a good thing is you can go through a lot of it and find who you really like. Usually you can smell BS and know what to move on from. The bad thing is it can be very overwhelming. But that's where you got to say, do you love this, or are you just looking to make money and you're looking to flip something online? That person probably is not going to do well here. So I would say swallow the pill, swallow the ego, get around the people who have what you want. That would be the one thing. And then the only other thing I would say is detach as much as you can from the money, which is really tough because you get into trading to make money. But as you know, when you're making money through other streams of income or have savings, whatever it may be, you trade a lot better. When you trade from a place of scarcity and need, you do not trade well. I have never met anyone that does. So I would recommend not quitting your job and going all in on trading in your first year. I would recommend keeping other income as much as possible because there's a long learning curve with this. Even I can give you a quick example. One of the guys I had on the hot seat segment, like I had you on, I had another guy, Randy. He's
Yeah.
been working with me for a year. Randy is on an exceptional learning curve and he's making money. He's profitable 14 months in. That I think is exceptional. Most people have to and he's been with me for a year. He's been paying for coaching for a year. Most people that are not going to do that, like I said, the big mistake, they don't get the coaching. They will spend 1 to 3 years in the learning curve. So just embrace that, everybody. Like if you're listening to this a year, 2 years, 3 years in, settle in, stop trying to make $1 million, learn a process that will pay you month over month. You don't have to make it all in one day. I think often we want to chase big profits when, as a trader, where I find the most success, where I find I get good months, is when I just avoid big losses. So I kind of gave a
Yeah.
couple of tips in there, but that would be it. It would be swallow your ego, avoid the big losses, get around the people that, have what you want, and then as much as possible, detach from the money, trade a process, not a P&L.
I think what you did there just summarized it all up perfectly, to be honest.
Well, you know why, bro? Because I talk about this shit more than I talk to my wife most days. This is all I do. So I wish that there was a pill that you could give traders to help them become profitable, but that's unfortunately not available. Not that I know of. If anybody finds it, let me know. You see, like the same mistakes happen to different people. So we all succumb to the same couple of trading mistakes. So once you start to be around a lot of traders that are having those issues, we've had a lot of time to think about how to fix them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I completely agree. I had that ego problem as well at the start, and it took
Same.
me way longer than it should. And it's also like, you spend however much money blowing accounts when you could have just put that money towards education, and you'd actually be like 10 times better off.
So we have a podcast coming up this weekend with me and four of us, three guys on a panel. We flew to Miami. We all met there, have a really nice studio. And we talked about that. Like the cost that I spent in my first 18 months, probably, let's call it 50 grand, a little less than that, lost. I could have
Yeah,
spent half that money on education and probably been better off. You know what I mean?
100%. Yeah. Going back to obviously your journey then, when you started, was there a specific moment where you realized, like you said about going all in on trading? And I think most people that I speak to say, like, if you want to do this, you have to be obsessed. What was kind of the moment when you realized, okay, I want to go all in on this?
I guess my default mode is, in an entrepreneurial sense, to just be all in. Like if I'm looking at something and I'm committed to it for more than a little bit of time, I'm in. Like before trading, I was trying different things to see what I would be able to be all in on, but not that many things because I like to try things and give them their fair chance. My previous job, I was a DJ for bar mitzvahs and weddings and private
Oh,
events.
awesome.
I did that for 7 years, bro. I was all in. I was ready to be the 50-year-old bar mitzvah DJ until one day I realized that ain't a good look, bro. That ain't going to get you where you want to be. So, like, my personality is very much all in, right? Make it work, burn the
Yeah, yeah.
boats kind of thing, which I think is an entrepreneurial characteristic. So, I can't think of an exact moment where I was like, I'm all in. It was like, this checks the boxes. So let's keep going. And if I hear people saying, oh, you can't do it, what they're really saying is, I can't do it, meaning
Mm,
them. So I knew that anyone talking negative to my pursuit, my dream, was just their own insecurity coming out loud. So I felt like if I see this and there's one other person doing well as a day trader, give it to me. It checked the boxes more. So it probably goes back to like that time period where I was in college, ready to drop out, working in financial services, studying for the Series 7. Something in there probably said, bro, you got to go on this. You have the time freedom, you get the income freedom. You don't have a boss telling you what to do, and you can go wherever you want as long as there's internet. I mean, it sounds like a dream come true,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, it is the dream.
It
Like when you
is.
say it like that, it is the dream.
But then you don't know how hard it's going to be and how long the learning curve is going to be. And when I got into it almost 10 years ago, bro, there was not this much information on the internet like it is now. Now we got the Day Trading Show
I
podcast where I'm
know, yeah.
interviewing these famous traders. You just go watch that and learn from people that charge thousands of dollars an hour. Like that's unheard of. You go on YouTube now, everybody's showing their trade recaps. Everybody's showing their stuff. So there's so much now to look for. Where like when I got started, you want to know what I did? This is a funny little story. I bought a course from a guy on Instagram for $200. He's like an American guy. He sends me this course and videos on a private YouTube playlist, super sketchy. And the guys making the video, it's in French with English subtitles. And
Oh
I'm
my
like,
God.
this is a waste of $200 gone. But then a couple of months go by, I find another group of guys. I join their group. They're all watching the same course, but in English this time. And the course was a technical analysis course about how to trade Forex. I felt like that course really kind of got me started on a technical analysis path. I then went from that course to everybody, bro. Tim Sykes, Cameron Foose, every penny stock guy, every technical analysis. I tried to either bootleg or buy their courses
Yeah.
because I realized technical analysis is what I wanted to do. I wanted to do pattern recognition. I wanted to do price action. I didn't want to do fundamentals. So I was like, let's lean into this. So I just started consuming books and content about that. You know what I mean? And then I'm just annoying and obnoxious. So I start reaching out to these people and I'm like, hey, will you talk to me? I watched all your videos. I have more questions. So that's how I learned. Like I was relentless. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
eventually you get some yeses. Most people will say, F off, leave me alone unless you pay me. But I didn't have any money at that time. So I was just looking for people kind of like who I try to be like now. Like I'm doing okay. I'm not scraping for pennies. I can turn around and give people some free advice sometimes because I know what it's like to be in that position of like, oh, I want it so bad, but I want to make sure I'm going the right way. I know what that's like.
Yeah, I think that it's so true what you say as well about knowing to go the right way. Because as you said, there's so much available right now. And it's almost like you have 10 different paths to go down. And it's like, which one is the right one?
And like what could be right for Josh doesn't mean it's right for Austin, right? Like we
Yeah,
trade
exactly.
the
Yeah.
way to extract money out of the market. There's an unlimited amounts of ways to do that. You've got to find a way that you do it really well and do it consistently. I remember one of my mentors, his name was Scott Redler, because I spent some time in 2017, 2018 working at a prop firm called T3 Trading. They're a New York based prop firm. They
Yeah.
were virtual. Yep. So Scott did a seminar in Boca and I went to it. They sent me there and I sat in the back of the room and I learned. And now look at me doing that 50-person seminar that you guys were a sponsor of, right? So like it made a huge impact on me. And he talked about like simple technical analysis stuff that doesn't matter, but he talked about consistency and what that looked like and how you had to like your strategy to believe in it. And if you
Yeah.
liked it and believed in it, you would do it consistently well. Same thing with your routine. If you hate cold plunge in the morning, stop making yourself do that. Like the routine, figure out a way to work that in a different. So like a lot of the stuff he taught me wasn't even technical. It was like psychological of like how to be a high performance trader. The guy was running Ironmans, marathons, pushing himself to be physically, mentally, spiritually balanced. So I took a lot from that, bro. Like I've done my yoga teacher certification. My wife and I both have done that. So I'm not just, long hair for looks, bro. I'm a part hippie too. I tell everybody I'm a conservative, fiscally conservative hippie is the political party I identify with. But I take a lot from these different mentors because I see that like there's so many ways to make money looking at the chart. So that ain't the
Yeah.
difference maker. The difference maker is find the way that you see the chart best and the strategy that aligns with you the best. Simply put, everybody, like trend following or reversion. I coach guys in both. You got to talk to yourself and look at the strat. Which type of trader are you? Josh, are you more of a reversion or a trend follower?
I'm probably a trend follower.
Me too. So like on days like today where it's super choppy in the end, I don't trade that. I trade when trends are clear because my mentor Brian taught me once trends are established, they are most likely to continue. That was like a saying he always used to say.
Yeah.
Not all the time, no guarantees. So like trend following really aligned with me. So I found that, then I found the VWAP, then I found some like other things that have pieced together and it is something I believe in so I can do it every day over and over. And I don't care what other people on the internet are trading. It doesn't bother me because I believe in what I'm doing.
Yeah. I think as well, a lot of people's psychology don't fit into certain strategies. It's like some
Sure.
people need the high win rate because they can't handle the multiple losses in a row. So it's something like that to consider because some people mentally can't handle certain strategies, basically.
That's me. When I show you my stats, I'm at 71% win rate. I could show you accounts from 2 years ago still at 70% win rate. If I stay at a 70% win rate and I just take losses small, like I don't tilt, which I still
Yeah.
do occasionally, then I'm okay. I'll take payouts. I would just add to what you said, like the tilting is the issue, right? A lot of the
Yeah.
times
Yeah.
people can
Yeah.
find the strategy, they can find the system, and then they go off of it. They take trades with me on stream. We do well. They go off the stream. They do crazy things on their own because they just want to gamble. So
Yeah.
I think it's like you got to be able to commit to this thing to then get yourself to the, okay, I believe that I'm a high win rate guy. I trade a high win rate strategy. I believe in it so much that if I do some Asian session trading that I don't even know I could hurt myself. And I believe in my vision and my goals for this plan so much that I don't want to do that. That's the place you want to get to, I think, everybody.
I know obviously you trade prop firms, right?
Yeah.
So what are your opinions when it comes to like that tilt and like the rules on prop firms when it's like trying to force you almost to make these profit targets and make these goals? Any tips you can give on that one, guys? You're quite experienced in that realm.
Prop firms are a great tool for new traders because you don't have to lose a lot of money, personal money, like real money, to learn. If you treat prop firms like a casino, they absolutely can be a casino. You're talking to somebody who does a lot of gambling as well outside of trading. It is very similar. But you, with discipline and structure, you can take payouts from prop firms and really make a good living off of that. We have guys that have taken hundreds of thousands of dollars out in the course of just a few months. So for the new trader, best advice with these prop firm things, don't buy a bunch of accounts. Don't go super fast. This is what the podcast is about this Saturday, actually. Go slow. Everyone that I ask, what would you do different if you go back to the beginning of your prop firm journey? They all say, I went too fast. I traded too big. I went on tilt too often. I gambled the money away. So trade small, take it seriously, treat it like it's a legit account because you can, in today's day and age, you can make money as a trader easier than ever. That is
100%.
undoubtable because of the prop firms. So if you take it seriously, you can make real money. If you treat it like, oh, it's a demo account, you're going to blow through a ton of them. And then you're going to have to look at your P&L. How much did you spend on prop challenges versus how much did you make, right? Instead of getting into that hairy thing where you're spending 10,000 to make 11,000, try at the beginning to go slow. Try to not blow through them too fast. There's so much information out there that I would just say, talk, learn, get around people that like myself who are taking payouts because there's good little tips. Like for example, some of these prop firms offer you certain software. Project X is the name of one of the
Yeah.
platforms. You guys have it on the TradeZella. You can track it. They have lockout features. Like if you
Yeah.
struggle
Yeah.
with over trading, like you said about the tilt, put a $1,500 lockout in or whatever the amount is. Put a dollar lockout in or a trade number. If you trade too much, 4 trades a day max or 2 trades a day, it will stop you. Like you will have to literally go buy another account. You can't
Yeah.
unlock it for the day once it's locked. Things like that will actually help you build your discipline. That's like training wheels, right? Like it's teaching you how to, for example, you have that max daily loss number in, you hit it, you can't trade anymore. You have to now sit there and just look at the red day and either choose to go, forget it, move on, try it again tomorrow, or sit with it, study it, learn it, be better tomorrow, and try not to hit the max daily loss. So I think that there's a lot of risk tools that these prop firms even offer now to try to
Yeah.
put you, away from tilting, right? There's other platforms that are more difficult to trade that I'm sure people are blowing more accounts on because they don't have those risks. So use that stuff, everybody. Like that's my advice. Use the risk settings, use those tools to help keep you from really your own worst enemy. It's you. That's what we all are. The tilt comes from when we can't handle what the market is doing. We can't handle being wrong. We can't stomach the chop, right? So in order to help you build the bandwidth, because I consider all of those things, the FOMO, all of that, it's a muscle in your brain. In order to build that muscle, what do? You train it a little bit every day. It's not all in one day. So use the lockout tools, use the risk tools to train your brain to not tilt. And then this is my last point I would say on tilt with the prop firm stuff. You often will lead to tilt after really hot streaks.
Yeah.
What you want to try to do with the tilt is stop worrying about being perfect and avoiding it. Make the focus be, I don't want this to happen that often. And when it is happening and I feel the tilt coming, I want to learn how to be aware of it so it costs me less money. So the two things about tilt, I tell everybody, the longer you trade, if you work in a positive direction, you will have less tilt happen and it will cost you less money. For example, if you tilt every week on Thursday or Friday, let's try to only tilt once a month. I'm not asking for perfect. Don't even say to yourself, everybody, I'm not tilting this month. That's a very strong expectation for a new trader. Do it less than you did it last month. All of a sudden, you'll start only tilting once a month. Then you'll start tilting once a quarter. That's my year last year. I could show it to you on TradeZella. Once a quarter, usually I'll have a bad day. Now this year, I haven't had any tilt days so far. So I think if you bring the awareness to the tilt and you stop looking for perfection, you start to say, okay, it's going to happen. When I feel it coming, I'm going to lock out, get myself away, save the
Yeah.
gunpowder, and I can come back. You know what I'm saying? So I think self-awareness is the real key so you can stop the bleeding.
That's awesome. Absolutely amazing advice. Thank you, Austin. Now, moving on, I think this will be really interesting coming from you as well. I think people would love to hear about your trading process. So walk us through like a typical trading day from preparation to execution to rounding off the day. What does that look like for you?
I wake my son up at 7. We hang out for an hour. My wife wakes up and gets herself ready. She takes over mom. and kid duty at 8 o'clock Eastern time. I
Yeah.
get to the desk around 8:30. I open up Bookmap. I open up TradeZella. I set up my daily report card for the day. I only trade one market. I just trade ES. People will judge me for that, whatever. It's very simple. It keeps me profitable. It makes it easy. So I don't have to do pre-market prep because I'm looking at ES on my phone overnight. I looked at it
Yeah.
over the morning. I know what prices we're at. I know the numbers. I know yesterday I was long off 55.69. Today we're at 55.49 at market. So I know the prices because I'm in tune with that one market. Part of the reason I only trade the one makes the pre-market prep easy. So
Yeah.
I wake up, I'm looking at daily VWAP from last night, 6 o'clock Eastern time. I'm looking at that overnight VWAP. I'm looking at yesterday's 9:30 New York Open VWAP. I'll also look at start of week VWAP. Those three will kind of give me a bias for the morning. If we're bullish above all those VWAPs, I'll probably wait for market open. Usually I don't trade pre-market. Today I did, but usually I don't. I'll wait for market open, 9:30 to 9:45. Give it 15 minutes. I like to see my opening range set, and then I have my bias based on those VWAPs. And I'm just looking to play as a trend follower the right side of VWAP. I'm trying not to worry about if I'm buying too high or selling too low. I'm just trading in the trend. That question has cost me a lot of money. It's so high, I can't buy it right now. Why? You don't
Yeah.
know that it's going to go higher, right? So it's like some of those questions in my process, I make sure to check myself on, right? And throughout that, I mean, now I've gotten just so many years of trading every day. It's the mental muscle in my brain is tougher, but I'm always checking in with myself. Are you rushing? Like I have a lot of internal dialogue and I try to keep it positive. I'm not usually a negative person internally. I just stubbornly believe in myself. So I'm just making sure I'm not married to a bias. I'm making sure I'm not over trading, oversizing. I'm on stream from 9:30 till about 10:30, 11 every day. That helps from over trading because you're in front of thousands of people. So I'm showing
Yeah. I
them
can
what I'm doing.
imagine.
Yeah, it makes it easier. Then at 11 o'clock, I stop my stream. I work out. I got a personal trainer. We work out 12 to 1 in the garage. 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock is podcast and coaching calls. I'm usually not even trading those hours. My thought is if I haven't made my money by 11, it's probably not a great trading day. Could I in the afternoon? Yeah, but I'd be more pissed about a loss I take in the afternoon rather than maybe adding a little bit to the month. I know I can usually find a trade between 9 and 11. There's very rarely a day that those 2 hours go by and I don't pull the trigger, right?
Yeah.
So by that time in the afternoon, I got to be finishing up my work stuff, my podcast, my coaching clients, and then by 5 o'clock, I got to be hanging out with the family because like I can't perform well if I'm not enjoying what I do. And I did not get into this business and start my coaching program and all this to sit here 8, 10 hours a day. Maybe in the
Yeah.
beginning, like when we first started ASFX and you're in grind mode, yeah. But I'm established now. So like I have to have balance, got to spend time with the kid, play outside, hit the sauna, do some other stuff, cook dinner, right? So it's really like a 9 to 5 for me, but the trading is done at 11 o'clock.
When you first got into trading, were your family supportive of that, or were they a bit like, "Oh, not sure"?
My dad was pissed because my dad was an attorney. He was like, get a real job for sure.
Yeah.
My mom had no idea. My mom still don't know what I do. Like she's just a stay-at-home housewife. My mom's like, oh, he does something online with YouTube. Um, my wife, definitely. My wife is my business partner. I gave her 50%, not 49% ownership of all of my businesses. So she has been with me since we were at negative. She's been with me at zero. She's been with me through many commas. So
Yeah.
she is the most supportive person in my life. She believed in trading. She believed I could become a trader even in moments where I was ready to quit. And she believed in me even when I worked at that prop firm and we felt like that deal wasn't good. She was in my ear like, we can do this on our own. We can do this better. We can do it, which is crazy because I'm supposed to be the entrepreneur. I'm supposed to be the one that takes all the risk. But sometimes even I needed a kick in the ass to be like, no, you don't need no other company. You can start the company. So my wife really pushed me in a lot of ways. And that's why I feel bad for people that don't have supportive partners. I tell them break up with them, get rid of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when I've seen what it's like to have it, when you really know what it's like to have somebody supportive, you can clearly see people that don't have that. And you're like, dude, just get rid of it. But it's hard, of course, right? We don't need that. This isn't a
Yeah.
dating podcast, but you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
It gets tricky. So that's on you though, right? Like you got to, I had a podcast last week with Nick Stewart and Nick was saying, he's like, because he's got 4 kids and a wife and she's super supportive, right? But Nick made a good point. He talked about how as traders, we try to like go in our little closet in a little hole and hide about it. No,
Mm.
tell everybody about your trading every day. If you can't talk to your wife or your girlfriend about your wins and losses, you're never going to grow. You think she's going to judge you because you lost sim money or even real money, right? Like hopefully you told her how much you were putting in and you were on board with it together and blah, 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 or it's your money and whatever. But like either way, if you have to hide that from people, it's a bad sign. You're not going to be able to trade. I tell everybody about my trades every day. I post it on Twitter. I think that accountability actually makes me better. So that's the advice, right? Everybody, it's like, don't just have a supportive partner, have somebody that keeps you accountable. Like my wife keeps me in check. She sees, everybody, you want to know how many prop firm challenges I buy. You don't believe me when I tell you I don't buy that many. To ask my wife, because my wife's job in our business, she works one day a month. She does our QuickBooks and our accounting and our payroll and all that stuff. She'll tell you how much I'm spending because she checks me on it too. She's like, hey, just so you know, your payouts and your spend on your prop firms are getting a little even. You might need to worry about not buying as many right now. So that accountability is good. So I would say everybody lean into that. Don't hide your trades from people that you're close with. Don't worry if you're wrong. If they say you lost money today, Josh, I told you so. Stop talking to that person. Like no one supportive would ever say that. A supportive person would be like, hey, why? Are you going to go review it? Like, are you going to figure out what you did wrong, or are you going to just do it again tomorrow?
So it sounds like you've obviously got your process pretty nailed down then, your routine. And even when it comes to your strategy, it sounds like you know that quite well. So how did you utilize tools like TradeZella to sort of stay organized and sort of improve your performance? And as we say, basically cut down on those losses?
Tracking the trades through the reports that you guys have has been a big difference. I also think the playbook section for me, the way that I teach people to use it, has been a huge component because Mike Bellafiore from S&B Capital always talked about one good trade. So I believed in that mindset. You find one strategy, one entry signal, and you work that. Then you add to that as time goes on and you build the mental bandwidth to handle more strategies. Well, as you've seen this year in the market, when we drop like a rock for 2 months and then bounce even faster, those conditions are not common. So while I'm tracking these entries on the tools on my tool belt in my TradeZella playbook, I can see when market conditions change, which entries may not be performing as well, and I can steer away from them. An example of that could be the opening range that I mentioned, the 15-minute 9:30 to 9:45 pin high to pin low every morning. One of the trades that was crushing it for us at the end of last year, bro, like every time this set up, I was like erect in every way possible, okay? A double break of the opening range. We break to the downside in a bullish uptrend. I'm looking for longs trading back into the range, back to the upside, based on a stat that said that double break of range happens about 70% of the time.
Yeah.
When the market dumped in February and March, that stat went out the window, bro. That stat went from 70% of the time to like 30 something. So it completely changed. You don't know that if you are not tracking the trades. So I don't think I would be progressing at all if I wasn't tracking and doing report cards. Now, you can't sugarcoat that my report cards have changed, right? Like my process now, as we just talked, is different than what it was at the beginning. Now I'm big on video reviews. I love when I see some of my students doing video reviews because when you sit down for 5-10 minutes and talk through the day, oh, I was long here, but really I was fighting VWAP and I should have been doing this. You learn through that. It's not for clout. It's not to get famous. It's self-assessment. It's self-reflection. So the video reviews have made a huge impact in the ability to like see where those mistakes are. Couple that with the TradeZella tracking. You see where to now, here's the mistake. Here's the thing we've tracked. There's now correlation in the data. Let's make the change. Let's adapt here and not just keep trying to put a square into a round hole. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And do you do weekly, monthly reviews or?
If I had free time, dude, if I was a single bachelor, bro, I'd be doing all them videos and I'd post them everywhere. But no, not anymore. And that's to my point about my daily report cards. Like, dude, now I have my trades. I have a couple of markups if I want to save them because something important happened. And then I do the video review 5-10 minutes and I talk it all out in the video review. But there's no text anymore. Like back in the day, it was like a whole weekly report card, Monday review, Tuesday review, Wednesday. I don't have time to do it anymore. That's just the truth. The weekends for me now, as I think you've seen for yourself, and I'm sure with some other good traders, I need a break. I don't want to do nothing about trading on the weekends, bro, because I go hard 8 hours a day. Dude, exactly. I don't want to talk about it. I don't care about it. I'm just coming in on Monday trying to perform my best again, you know?
Awesome. Would you be able to sort of break us down a trade, show us what criteria you're looking for when a high probability setup occurs, that type of thing?
Absolutely. Let me share my screen. So this is my month on a funded account with top one futures. So it's really good. I have to get this thing up to $7,500 to be eligible for the payout. Let me make it a little bit bigger. So you
Okay,
can
so we're
see
close.
we're close. 71% win rate. Profit factor is great. I'm on a day streak. Trade streak doesn't really matter because I lose trades pretty often. Like yesterday, I had 2 losses and 1 win, which I'll show you in a second. But the calendar here, like this to me, is really what I focus on. I just want to see green. I don't care if I'm green 200, 500, 1,000, 1,100. I just want green because I know the red, especially the big red, prevents the payouts. It's super
Yeah.
simple. People will be like, Austin's such a simple guy. Yes, simple is easy to repeat. I can't make this a super complicated process. So the setup itself, let's look at that's for tomorrow. That's Wednesday. Today's Tuesday. Let's look at yesterday because I think yesterday was a great day. Started the day down with this loss, fighting my process, if anything. So what you're looking at on screen, Josh, you'll see my entry is marked here.
Yeah.
Green for profit, right? Red is where the stop loss was. This is 9:30 market open. This blue VWAP is a New York market open VWAP. So what I tried to do was scalp a short back into that VWAP after the big run up at market open. Took the full loss on it. But as you can see, I was only down $600. My max daily loss is $3,700. So a very small chunk of my max daily
Yeah.
loss. So my process there on a Monday was big run up to start the day. Let's see if we can scalp a little thing back down. Nope, didn't work. One more try. So part of my process is I will try twice in the same direction in the same session, same asset. If I lose both, I'm wrong. I'm off today. See you later. Put me in the locker room, right? Put me on the bench. So I try a second short. This is where I get stopped on the first short. We consolidate for about 20 minutes. I start to think, okay, maybe we're in now. I'm using Bookmap at the same time, and that's kind of giving me some ideas that maybe there's some orders here at 59.60 that'll hold. So I take the short, again, same kind of stop loss distance, looking for that scalp back into New York VWAP. I closed this for a small win right here where the photo is taken. So I only recovered out of the $600 loss about 500. I'm down still about 150 on the day after the second trade.
Okay.
But what did those two positions do for me? They help me because they're not oversized. They help me figure out the bias for the day. If I tried to fight the VWAP twice and I lost, it's telling me the shorts are really not there today. So then Evan, the rest of our group is looking at longs. I quickly flip into a long from 59.56 to 59.66 and I make back the loss, the 150 I was still down, and I put myself up 1,100 on the day. So now I had 2 feeler positions short, reasonable size, nothing crazy. If they would have won, it's a big tell for the day. Maybe sellers are in. But because I lost them, I'm willing to flip the bias and trade the VWAP strategy in trend. So we tried the short here, failed. Tried the short here, made a little bit of money back. But then look at the structure, Josh. You see it. Higher highs and higher lows, especially right here at that light blue line. That's that previous day New York VWAP anchor. So when I'm seeing the support there and I'm holding the short, I'm like, oh, that's not good for the short. So that's why I take it, make a little bit back of that $600 loss, make 500 of it back. I don't need all of it, right? I don't care. Just get my green. Now I can flip my bias, confidently take a long here with another 14-point stop, and then you can see full out of it as it kind of flushes. So another little 2 things I'll say on this. The high of day VWAP is the green VWAP. This is how Brian Shannon teaches to trade his strategy. You don't chase the rip, which is this chunk of the move at the open, and you don't just buy it on dips in here because dips can keep dipping. So you don't just throw buys in here. You buy when it breaks that high of day VWAP. It's literally that is the strategy, everybody, and it works majority of the time. So we buy that high of day VWAP. We see higher lows holding in here, here, here. Structure still holding higher lows, even though it's very slow. Because you have a good entry, you're chopped in profit. And then my final tip of the last 2 I was going to say, this is what I would call like a flush into even highs, right? So when there's a previous high of day and we go into it quickly, I'm a scalper. I'm taking that. I'm not letting this come back. Even though it goes higher and, oh, I could have made more money. Don't care. Look at my P&L. Does it look like I care about catching the whole move, everybody? No. I got green on the day with 3 trades. I'm done. And that's rated 11:45 my time. Workouts at 12 o'clock. Done. Give me that. Happy days. Perfect. So that's like a typical day, right? And then we'll have other days like we could pull up a random one here. Let's do one this month from like May 7th. There we go. 2 trades on this day. I'll just quickly show you this.
I really love what you said there about, in particular, about obviously taking the 2 trades and keeping them small to feel out the market. I very, very rarely see people actually talk about that, but that is probably one of the best tips I've heard someone give.
Well, you know what it does? It allows me to eat it no problem. If I'm wrong, No problem. I don't care about being down $600 on a 150K challenge where I have 3,700 of daily drawdown. Take the 600. Give me information. That loss is information. I'm not unsure of what it's telling me. No, I'm very sure I was short trying to fight the VWAP and it lost. And then the second trade barely made me money. That's telling me the shorts are not working. I need to be long. And then it worked. So I use it as info. I don't react to it like financially as much. You know what I'm saying? Because the position size is controlled. I'll just give you one more example too. This was a really nice trade. We'll use that New York VWAP often for small little scalps. So when I see from 9:30, there's market open, this is pre-market. When I see all sellers, lower high, lower low, I'm going to try this as a retest with a stop loss at the top of that opening range, trading for the move down into here, trading that first breakout of the range. This is a trade. We have a free course called Futures 101, not to make it a promo, but I teach this trade in the free course. This is like a textbook we call it a mid-range trade. It is at 9:43, 15 minutes into the open. I'm trading from the middle of the opening range, stop loss at the top, take profit at the bottom. I'll make a little bit of money on these. These will stack up and then I can be done trading. And of course, if you're copy trading, it's more than 200. You're trading with more size, it's more than 200. But the trade itself is a quick scalp. Once you have that opening range information set, you can trade from the middle to the top if you're long, or the middle to the bottom if you're short. And it will win a decent percentage. So I will often look for scalps like this. And my note here would have been tapped out of it on a trail. I don't lock my stop loss at break even really ever, Josh. I'm in it. I'm out. If it keeps going, I'll look for another trade. If not, I'm not going to get a donut when it comes back to my entry price. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you also said that you use Bookmap. How important is Bookmap in this process with this trading strategy for you? Or can you do this without Bookmap?
You can definitely do it without. We were doing it without, but like, look at the notes on this example. Short off the New York VWAP down into the orders at 75. I'm short at 56.83. Orders are right here at 75. Where am I out of the trade? Look at the exit price, 56.
Right.
So Bookmap is an absolute cheat code if you can afford it. It is not cheap. It's the most expensive thing. I think it's even more expensive than TradeZella. It's expensive. It's, I think with my discount, it's like 150 for 3 months. Plus you have to pay $40 a month to get the data. So you need the software and you need the plugin to the data at the CME, but it's a game changer because like look at the way it held the 75s, right? So it tells me where orders may pull to. It doesn't tell me what it's going to do with the 75. It doesn't tell me if it's going to slice through or bounce. I just know I need to react at that level. So it's very, very helpful for take profits and for stop losses. Like for example, if I'm short at, let's just call it 56.83, if I see orders at 88 right here, I'll definitely put my stop loss above them at 92 in case they need to be tapped and then we go. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
So it's very helpful.
I was going to ask how you sort of manage your risk and determine sort of your position sizing and stuff, but it seems like you're not so focused on risk reward and you're more just about being right in the direction.
Now we get into it. This is where everyone hates when I say this, but I don't care about 1R or any of that because I know my goal with my 70% win rate doesn't need 1R. I don't need 1R at all. I have to just avoid big losses, right? My flaw in my strategy, and that's where the tilt days come, is if I take one big loss, I could give back a week of gains in a single day. So I have to be cautious. But that's why I just was filming about this. If we look at the reports on this account here, look at the average hold time. On my wins, it's 21 minutes. On my losses, it's 9 minutes. So I'm proving there that I can cut my losers quicker. And that's the goal. Cut the losses quick, just go find another win and make it good.
Yeah. Do you have any sort of filters that you use that are kind of like non-negotiables in a way when it's like, if the market is doing this, I am not allowed to trade type thing or not?
No, nothing like that because I have enough discipline. Like today, I didn't take any trades other than the pre-market trade. It was so choppy today. I'm cool. I keep myself really busy. I don't need the blockers or the filters if I'm busy. Like I got all this other stuff going on every day. So it's like, I don't feel the need to stare at the chart. If I don't like the market and I'm already up on the day from my pre-market, especially that, see ya. I don't need to worry about that. On a Fed day when there's Fed news or an interest rate announcement, I would not trade that. Right. Yeah. That's just chasing volatility. Maybe on a practice account or if you're bored, but why are you even sitting at the desk when the Fed is making that announcement? The old school guys all say nobody trades that. It's too volatile. Just come back tomorrow. Once you get the information from that announcement, try to avoid where I know amateurs are hanging out. If amateurs are buying a breakout, I'm kind of figuring out a way to short it sometimes, you know? And I tried to think about that. Like, okay, it's choppy going into Fed day. Would I trade the chop? No. Would I trade the news reaction? No. So why am I even here? Like, just get off the desk that day and then let everybody go blow their accounts and then
Yeah,
come call me when they need to re-up. Yeah,
don't even put yourself in a situation where you can slip up.
for sure.
You said about earlier how you had, like, say, for example, the one playbook last year that had like amazing win rate, and then sort of this year it's not working so much. What would sort of be the point where you think, okay, I need to tweak or refine this strategy?
I think like a week of losses.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
if I lose trades for a week straight, if I had 5 days red, which I've not had in a long time, I would reevaluate the strategy. If you're executing it correctly, it shouldn't have more than a week or two of consistent losses. Like if there's no wins in there, you're doing something wrong. I'm not big on jumping strategies though, because if I believe in VWAP, but a market condition changes, like I gave you the example earlier of we are
Yeah.
trending higher and trend strategies are working, that double break stat, beautiful, trending high. I'll use VWAP as a in trend trade. If the market conditions react differently and we get super volatile and maybe reversions start to look better, meaning we move away from the VWAP really far, fast, and then I trade back into it, did I change strategies or did I just change the way I'm using the tool? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm not too big on like tweaking it. Because I mean, that's why I'm such a big pusher of VWAP, because like when you study VWAP and then add the book maps, there's no other indicators that do what that stuff does. Because the way that I trade as a scalper, you could draw Fibonacci's and tell me where you think it's going to go. I don't care where it's going to go. I care what it's done and where probabilities say it could go. These other guys, they do the crazy patterns, bro. Not to talk shit to anybody, but like the bat patterns and the this that stuff doesn't work. I think, especially in U.S. markets. U.S. markets are really driven by options trading, and people don't know this. The zero DTE options trading drives a lot of the direction and the volume that we see come into the market. So I think things are a little bit more complex than bat patterns and Fibonacci numbers. Therefore, I super simplify it and I just use price action and I just use VWAP. And then the book map is the little sprinkle on top. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. I think to sort of sum that up, it's like react, don't try to predict in a way.
It's the best advice I can give because predictors, those people, analysts, they don't get paid if they're right or wrong. You work at Goldman. My price target for Tesla is 700. Okay. Like who makes money off you saying that? That's just a waste of air. They're just wasting air. I think, especially then on the short term trading side, react because we can make so much money with such a small move. I don't even look at the daily chart other than for like my high time frame, just know where I'm at. I don't look at that before I take a trade. I don't care about what the daily charts are. My average hold time is 20 minutes. The
Yeah.
market could do so much in 8 hour days, and I'm looking at 20 minutes. So, like, even there, more of a reason. Not all that predicting stuff, just is more noise. What have we done? What just happened? Where's the trend short term? Let's go. Play the probabilities, roll the dice. I don't know the outcomes, Josh. Everybody listening, if you stayed this far through, you should just accept the fact you never know the outcomes of your trades. You never know. Every best setup I've ever seen can be a loss. You don't know the outcome. Let go of the outcome. You don't know that you're going to live tomorrow. Everything is probabilities. You're just playing the odds. So I'm just playing the odds, bro. So that's why I want to know, are we in reversion? We in chop? We in trend? That'll tell me what direction. Play with VWAP, fight the VWAP, and then I find my book map levels and I rock out.
Awesome. Thank you for obviously sharing your playbook with us. Serious value there. Thank you so much. We've obviously got strategy, and then we've got psychology, right?
Yeah.
So obviously trading can be super mentally taxing for a lot of people, and a lot of people throw this word around of discipline, right? So how important do you think obviously the discipline is to avoid those sort of emotional decision makings and tilt and all that sort of things, and just any sort of value you can give for the viewers here would be great.
Okay. Controversial maybe, but that's like more my thing. When you're struggling, discipline is very important. When you've got money to lose, discipline doesn't matter as much. And then you'll see guys that have no discipline and big money make big money. I've seen it. I've been a part of it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So, and you'll go, wow, why is he trading so well? And the only thing you'll come up with is he's in the flow. He doesn't care about the money. He doesn't care about the losses. He's already well off. He's rocking and roll. I got a guy in the mentorship. Biggest day he ever had. He's 50 something years old, $84,000 in a day trading personal and prop. He's not worried about being disciplined. He's not doing ice baths in the morning. He's got kids, bro. He's not doing a cold plunge 20 a day, meditating 20. He's not doing any of that. So that discipline's out the window, right? But his experience and his feel are what got him there. And then his looseness is what allowed that to happen. But I think when you're new, discipline is mandatory. New in any entrepreneurial field, discipline is mandatory. And how you do one thing is how you'll do everything. So if you slack off at the gym and you slack off with your diet, you will slack off with your trading. You will not follow your rules 5 days a week. Those are the people that usually break their rules by Thursday or Friday. Yeah. So often, if you're struggling as a trader and you're not financially well off, try doing more disciplined things off the desk to make it easier to be disciplined on the desk. A simple thing is do something hard before you start trading, like a cold plunge, right? When you're in the grind gears, train your mind to be tougher than your emotional heart. I don't want to get in the cold. Shut up. You're not going to die. Do the disciplined thing. Now, when you don't want to follow your trading plan, now you do it because you do disciplined things. You are becoming that person that you see in the David Goggins videos. You said you were going to do something uncomfortable and you did it. Now you can do it again and follow your rules and do the same thing. If you don't do that, though, you see how easy it is to slack off, right? You eat it in one area, all of a sudden you start eating the junk food in every area. You can't do that.
Yeah.
So how you do one thing is how you do everything. And like that is like, read the book, The Four Agreements, be impeccable with your word. When you say something, you mean it. If I say out loud, I'm going to follow my rules today and I can't do it, I will not reach the next level of my self-growth because I can't even be impeccable with my word to myself, let alone the people that I love and that I want to provide for with this. So discipline's mandatory in the beginning. I think it slacks off a little bit for some people as they get older and as life goes on and they make more money. But I think if you want to feel like you're fulfilled, like at least for me, I take enjoyment out of doing difficult things because I know they make me better. I take enjoyment out of lifting heavy weights because I know it will keep me healthier long term. I also am crazy and I like doing it because I know other people don't want to do it. So then I feel even better about myself because I know there's nobody else running on the treadmill. It's too hot today. They didn't want to go outside. You know what I got to say for that, right? 5-letter word that starts with P. So to me, I'm just focused on myself, staying locked in on like what motivates me. And that motivation drives my discipline. But I think as a new trader, you got to find people around you that are disciplined to motivate you to be disciplined in your own way. But if everybody around you is lazy, you're going to be lazy. That is not a hard thing to figure out. You're around people that work in a regular job, not striving for more money, worried about expenses, not worrying about making more money. You're around people in that mindset, they will not push you to be disciplined and be better. But when you hang around entrepreneurs that are going through the grind, still struggling and growing and struggling and growing, those people will push you to be better. So it's probably easier to be disciplined when you get around disciplined people, you know?
Yeah, 100%. The other common sort of issue I see a lot of traders struggle with, right, is when they go into these drawdown periods. Now, what about a trader that's going into a drawdown period and is reviewing their trades and their strategy, they are following it? How can someone handle that drawdown period psychologically? Because I know that can be a tough.
Yeah, stop trading for a little bit. Most people burn out. A lot of the psychological issues are stemmed from trading too much. You are not thinking clearly anymore. You're pissed because you're not trading as well as you want to. Now you're taking that out on the market. Just stop. I've seen great traders blow themselves out for no reason and then stop and then come back as great traders. So now my advice is often stop them before they blow it up. Pull the plug. Walk away for 5 days, bro. You will not miss the markets. You will not miss big moves. There will be other big moves. The market is not going anywhere. It's been here for decades longer than you've been alive. Show some respect. Respect yourself to say, man, I've been running hard at this thing for months. Let me take a weekend to go hang out with my girlfriend. Not back test. You know what I'm saying? Taking that break often allows you just to reset. I think you burn it out, it's harder to come back and reset. But when you take occasional breaks, it's easier to come back fresh because you're now like, you're not just doing bicep curls every day, blowing out your biceps. You do it once or twice a week. All of a sudden they start growing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you need the recovery. Yeah.
But what do you have to do? You got to feed yourself. You got to recover. You got to sleep. You got to do these other things to supplement the growth, even if it's not the chart time, even if it's not the live market. You got to go balance yourself spiritually, mentally, socially, because we're social creatures if you want to come trade well. I really believe that. I don't think people trade well when they are living an unbalanced life. Sure. Are there seasons where you need to tell your wife, hey, I can't come to Aunt Susie's birthday party. She's 68. I never met her. I got to stay home and work. Yeah, bro. Yeah. You got to work as an entrepreneur. But that's not what I'm talking. I'm talking about like overall balance. No one needs to work 12 hours a day. If you're working 12, 15 hours a day on something and it's not moving in a positive direction. You try something new, buddy. That's not living life. Even when I started ASFX, bro, I wasn't working 18-hour days. That's like, work smarter, hire people, outsource things. Do not do that to yourself. You'll get sick. Like, and what causes cancer more than anything else? What causes sickness more? Stress, bro. So you got to be balanced to avoid the stress. When you're less stressed, you trade well. Back to my point about not needing the money, right? From
Yeah, that's
trading.
true.
When you don't need the money, you trade really well. All of a sudden, you're stringing a green month together, and you're like, dude, 2 weeks of this month, I was even on vacation. I was running my seminar, and I'm still making. So it's like equilibrium in every sense of your life, like fully balanced. That's when then you start to perform best, because then the output from that performance will match what you want it to be, in your mind.
Yeah. I normally ask this question, and the question normally is, if you could go back and tell yourself, your first year self when you got into trading, what one piece of advice, what would it be? But for you, I'm going to change it a little bit because you've, been in the game for so many years. If you could just go back 2 or 3 years from now, so you've been trading 9 years, go back to when you were 6, 7 years in, what advice would you give yourself to grow from then to now?
It's a good question. I wasn't trading a lot of prop firm stuff 3 years ago. My business partner was, and I was on the fence about it. And I think I left money on the table by not getting involved in that sooner, trying to spin my wheels with my own capital too much. So I think that would be something. If there's anything of like regret, it's like I should have just gotten involved in prop firms sooner and stop being an idiot. Be open-minded. So like I don't have a lot of regrets. I don't have a lot of things I change because then I might not be here talking to you, right?
That's very true. Yeah.
But that would be one of them. But I think the bigger thing, because I ask that question on my podcast all the time, the bigger thing about that question when people answer it, it tells me what type of entrepreneur they are. Most successful entrepreneurs don't have any regrets. And I try to live by that. If I can catch myself in a moment of like, if I do this, I might regret it, I will try to choose the other option. I can always come back. I can always go get a 9 to 5, but I'm going to quit college and go all in on my trading, right? Like that's the one that I would regret not doing. So I did that. So I think like that's the way to live your life as an entrepreneur, is leaning into the thing that you would be pissed if I end up saying, oh, man, my dad, bro. My dad went to George Washington University, but he regrets not going to Penn because he got into Penn. But he wanted to work in go to George Washington to work near the Capitol and work on Capitol Hill. And he did. He worked with congressmen and stuff like that to become a lawyer. But he always regretted that decision about Penn. Who would he have met? Who would he have worked for? I don't live like that. And that's
It's
probably
the butterfly effect.
Exactly, bro. You can't live like that. Because you know what? My dad held a lot of resentment, held a lot of stress for those decisions. He was the kind of guy, like some people listening, that may linger on it. And I would just give you the advice because I learned from him and I saw that. Don't live with grudges. Don't live with regret. Don't live with that weight. The same way you don't want to live with the weight of your trading losses. And the best thing to do is take a break. When you take the losses, when you feel the weight, when you feel you've been pushing yourself too hard, everybody, take a break. Like our society in America, especially, add the internet of FinTwit, everybody's a millionaire every day. Everybody's outworking you it ain't like that. I promise. The internet is an illusion of reality. Hang out with your family. Give people time. You will become a better person. Don't try to become this robot when it comes to trading. I don't see that working for people,
Austin, I really appreciate you taking the time to share your journey and your insights with us. For those listening, make sure to go follow Austin on X, YouTube, Instagram, all of that stuff. Just want to shout yourself out quick?
Yeah, Austin Silver FX or ASFX.TV. We stream every day.
Awesome. Thanks again for joining us on Process Over Profits, and I hope you guys enjoyed.